Current Affairs, and today we are focusing on two main topics. The first one is going to be about the limited cabinet reshuffle that took place early this morning. 9 ministers took oath before His Excellency, the Head of State, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, and also 5 governors also took oath before the President with their deputies. And the second topic is about the current religious discourse, the tolerance of Islam. How can we be able to reflect it at its best, especially with the current changes worldwide, with the changes in administrations in the different countries, like for example in the United States, with the how can our religious discourse be reflected at its best to be able to effect change, especially with Western countries, in the light of President Donald Trump signing an executive decree to ban 7 Muslim countries from entering the United States. Muslim countries, in case they reflect themselves at their best and reflect the true image of Islam, the situation would be totally different. And we're going in the second topic to be discussing that and talking elaborately about reforming religious discourse and exploring the current religious discourse right now. Right now, we're very delighted to start off with our first topic, which is the limited cabinet reshuffle. And we're very delighted to have with us Mr. Mohamed Gamal. He's member of the Supreme Council at Future of a Nation party, political party. Good evening, Mr. Gamal. Let's talk about the limited cabinet reshuffle that took place this morning, where 9 ministers took oath before President el-Sisi. Of course, Egyptians have been expecting or were waiting in anticipation for several several ministries,
yes,
to undergo some changes. I mean, they were hoping for a change in some ministries. I mean, not all the ministries were to the consent of, most of the ministries were to the consent of Egyptians. They were pleased and satisfied with the performance, but they had some reservations on some ministries. Which topic would you, which point would you like to start off with? The reservations of Egyptians over the specific ministries in the cabinet, that they were hoping for some changes to be effected this morning in, or would we start with the changes in the ministers, the limited change?
At first, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to make a fast evaluation for what's happening. There is a very important point, or I think from my point of view, it's a major point, is the expectations of the different sectors of the Egyptian people. What we are waiting from the changing of the ministers, we are asking one question: when the performance of our government will meet our satisfaction, or all the Egyptian different sectors' satisfaction. This, I think, it's very strategic case. We need to analyze it quite well. From my point of view, we got a very major problem. The major of the problem of the performance of the government, it's not only the changing or the choosing the right candidate in the right place in the right time, but also the major problem here is the frame of authority that the parliament giving to the minister or the prime minister to move on to make a development in the performance of all the government. Here I need to focus a little bit upon the very deep gap in between the government and our parliament. We all was expecting that all the parliament members after the last election, that will be very soon priorities, a schedule of priorities of laws in order that they can change the performance of the government. In my point of view, or this is the fact, this is what's happening now, that Egypt we are managing our institutions, and the ministers are doing their job with a law. Maybe we got about more than 1,000 laws. It's before 1952. So how can we are asking the government or asking the prime minister or asking the minister to make this change without giving them the support? Let me ask you a question. You are now working in the media, right? How can your program come to the people in a very quite serene and efficient, without
sophisticated,
without your managing team is giving you the equipments and giving you all the qualifications that lead you to come in this seat. So what I need or what I need to focus, here that there is a very big gap in between the parliament and the government. Yes, the parliament, our Egyptian parliament is not considering the scale of work of the president. It's not on the same scale of work.
It's not coping with the pace.
Yes.
The pace, I mean the pace of time.
Yes.
It's a little bit behind. Yes. So you have reservations over the parliament. The parliament is not being supportive enough.
No, I'm not talking about this only. I'm talking about how can I make an auditing or make an evaluation for you, and I'm not giving you the equipments or the
tools.
Yes, all the tools. The centralization, the case of centralization in one of the major problems that facing any government. I'm not expecting here that we need to change the system of the internally management system of the ministers. I mean, how can we work with an old system and we need that to have a good performance and modern performance for our institutions while we are still working with the laws before 1952 and laws from 1960s, 1970s. It's not a logic. I'm not here to support the government or the prime minister. I'm just want to be more focusing on where is the real problem of the performance of the government. The government. We've been to many meetings in official way with too many people responsible in two different ministers. Like in the governors, as an example. Any government got no authority for the people or the candidates that they are responsible, number one, in like the health minister. How you can work like a governor and you cannot make any action with the responsible number one of the health in your government. Can you work by this?
You mean the communication?
No. He got no authority on them. I'm talking about the responsible number one about any government you want. You can ask them, you can call them. If he got a real authority by law on these people, no authority.
So, in other words, we could say to Egyptians before taking reservations on some ministries,
yes.
which was the case,
yes.
You should be better looking over the legislation by the
yes.
parliament, who was not supportive enough
yes, exactly.
to be able to provide tools for these ministries,
yes, yes.
To be able to spread their hands
yes.
and before their hands become tight,
yes.
and limit them from taking or functioning the way they're supposed to function in a new millennium.
Yes, this is the major point.
That's right. So where do you think was the reservations of Egyptians on which ministries in particular?
I think because of the whole circumstances of Egyptian people now, maybe they were expecting changing of the Minister of Health. And it didn't happen. Also, I think there's some kind of changing of the specification of choosing the governors. We've got one of the most bigger governor in Egypt, Bahira, was been choosing engineering. I think one of the most women that making a very good attitude and performance of one of the most important institution which is responsible about water
and sewage.
Yes.
Right. We're going to elaborate more on this, the first female governor, which is a pride to all Egyptians, and a reflection, a continuation of the image of our President El-Sisi on supporting and empowering prominent Egyptian women to to have full force in community and in the government, to be able to reflect their successes, and Egyptians take the best use of this success. But let's go to the reservations over the ministries. Egyptians had reservations, and did this limited cabinet reshuffle come to the expectations of Egyptians in your own assessment?
Let me go with you with a little bit more details in what we are going to expect in this coming months for after changing or replacement of ministers. I think we got one of the famous people that they got a very good vision in changing, which is one of the most important case for the Egyptian people, the education. I think the Minister of Education now, he got his own vision and the plan for changing the attitude or the performance of the education. We got too many problems in the whole
education side. For years we had problems. Yes. Not only now.
Yes.
I mean, the January 25th erupted and evolved because of problems in two files: the health and the education.
Yes. What I need to...
it's an accumulation of years and years.
Yes, of course, it's some kind of accumulation, but we need to feel that we are going on the right road. We're beginning the first step. I think the Minister of Education now is one of the famous people who was helping the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi when the Council of Consultancy. He was member of it. He got the true solutions for the education problems. So what I need to feel like any Egyptian people, any Egyptian parent, that there been some kind of evaluation of the education operation daily. I think I'm expecting it will be a little bit changing the performance of this minister. This choosing this candidate exactly is one of the most succeeded in this replacement. Also, I think while we are talking about this point, we have to return back to our constitution. Our constitution terms, I don't remember the number of this term exactly, but they used to say, or they have to, the commitments of the government that they have to maximize the budget of education and health, I think for twice or more than twice in the constitution. This is the point here. I want to focus on it.
So this is your own assessment on how we can root out the problems in the educational and health file?
Yes, but I mean that...
expanding the budget.
Yeah, it's number one. How can the minister work without budget? If you are talking about making a development, a real development for the real situation now for the education and for the health, I think it's a must that we have to duplicate the budget at least for the time being. So,
but also we have to upgrade the service, and we have to monitor the corruption.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's not only monitoring or only to have to audit or to make. It's a kind of how we can put a frame of work, and this is
a program. You mean?
No, I mean here, if you are going to make to put every institution do its job it should do, we have to hear from the Prime Minister and every minister what is the plan of developing his ministry. till now we are not finding some kind of cooperation between the parliament and the prime minister and the member of the government. What I hear and say and see the couple days ago, that all the members of the parliament are not doing anything, just they attack the government, only attack. I was expecting from the parliament, because he's the responsible number one about confirming the budget of the government for different ministers, that they used to find out the sources that they can give and help the government to make the real progress in the next 6 months. And we didn't see what's the plan. I need to hear from the parliament to let us hear a specific job description for every minister, and what's the goals and what's the plan of achievement and the time frame for this achievement. We didn't see this. So I think one of the major problems for all
So you think your reservations are, there is no statistics, there is no planning,
yes,
there is no fixed plan that could be set for a whole team?
yes, yes. I'm not saying the scene is like black, but I was expecting that the people need to hear numbers. When if I'm staying here or stopping on the point of view, I need to know when I will go from 0 to 5, when.
That's why there is a limited cabinet reshuffle, because
yes,
the administration, or the state's administration, the president and his political and economic aides, they have a vision for, or they have their own reservations also. They had an assessment of the whole situation, and they had their own reservations, and they saw that there is some time that things, certain changes should be effected.
Yes, of course. It's not a matter. I'm not talking here about the qualifications of choosing the candidates of ministers. No, I know that.
You're talking about the system of the ministries.
Yes, it's not a matter of persons. It's a matter of the system. Let me give you an example. A small example. To know the major problem.
Right.
Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, when he came, he told us that Egypt is spending about, I think it's 12 or 13 billions per month for about 6 million or 8 million employees in the government, in all the ministers, in all the institutions, the governmental institutions, okay? And this is a very huge number. Although he's not feeling that the Egyptians taking a good service from all these institutions. So he make a recommendation for the law of, I think, the law of civilian services in the beginning of settling the Egyptian parliament. What happened that the parliament member, every one of them, he was so afraid to approve this law in order that he can return back to his countryside. The people who ask him, you are making for us evaluation and monitoring and auditing by the government, and all the manager will get the authority that the employee is not making his job quite well. He will be announced at once, and after announcing him, they will be, I think, they will let the contract will cancel. So what happened that the Egyptian parliament refused to approve this law. So how come for any minister or any government or any manager in any governmental institution can make an evaluation, quite well evaluation, and he can, in any successful institution, you have to get the points that you can make evaluation, the points that you can take the decision that
to earn.
Yes. But you have to make, you have to take your, to cancel a contract or for a lazy employee. We got too many problems we have. The first is how we can put the frame that we can all of us work in it. This is from my point of view, is the major problem.
Right. We only have like less than 2 minutes. I guess we need to talk about two main things that happened. Two positive things.
Yes.
The first female governor appointed by President Sisi,
yes.
and also Dr. Sahar Nasr. Of course, as we all know, she was the Minister of International Cooperation. She took over also Investment Ministry.
Yes.
This is empowerment for women and recognition of the President and the Egyptian administration for the real power of qualified, prominent calibers.
Yes.
And I won't talk about gender,
yes.
but eliminating the gender inequality at all. Yes. I mean, there is no gender discrimination. It's
yes.
just the calibers, good calibers.
Yes. Yes.
And this is a point that could be taken and with credibility on the administration of President al-Sisi.
Yes, of course, this is one of the most important points. Let us put a base here that the scale of choosing of the trustable candidates or calibers it's not the major point now. It's the measure of qualifications. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Also, if you remember, in the first conference of the Egyptian youth, it was one of the results that this conference come to us with the percentage of the women. It's very important. The Egyptian women, they always making a very good job. I see for myself that we got too many examples, successful examples for all the degrees from the minister. But the very I think good step and very huge change in choosing was the choosing of the governor. It's the first time, because it's very difficult responsibility. It's one of the most difficult responsibilities in Egypt. To be the responsible number one in the government, and govern like Bahira, it's very huge government. I think it's very good step. We are expecting, from my point of view, I'm expecting a real change of the performance, because this choosing been chosen from some kind of successful performance experience for managing the institution of water, and it was a really good step. And we are wishing all the success for the government, and we always need to be a very real cooperation in between the parliament and the government to see the best performance in the next.
To the best interest of the Egyptian community.
Yes.
Mr. Mohamed Gamal, member of Supreme Council of Future of a Nation Party, thank you very much.
Thank you.
On that positive note. We're going to go to a short break and we'll come back to you, so stay with us.
Be the first to know.